remember is that Ian told me we're going to have lunch. I think it was lunch, right? Lunch with Ben and his friend Karen. And then after I came here, you're like cooking together and you did it. I was like, they're definitely not friends.
Ben and I met 7 years ago, and I've always known Ben to be very true, very awkward, and very fun, accepting person at the same time. Someone who tried to see the best in everyone that he encountered. He's a very lovable person because he knows how to love others for who they are.
Karen est une artiste. Elle est très douée pour la peinture, le dessin, la photo, la vidéo. C'est quelqu'un qui touche à tout, qui est intéressé par beaucoup de choses, qui essaye toujours de voir le bien chez les autres et d'être la plus chaleureuse possible avec les gens, qui se sentent à l'aise avec elle. Et ouais, c'est ce que j'aime chez elle. Et aussi, elle a une très forte relation avec Hachem qu'elle a réussi à construire au fil des années. Et voilà, c'est quelqu'un qui mérite d'être connu.
Can you briefly talk about what you know of our story? Yeah?
Sure. From what I know, from what I've heard, is that the two of you met at a Shabbat meal at an apartment. It was at either Miriam or Esther's apartment in New York. And
both of them, they lived together. Miriam wasn't there.
You came to a Shabbat dinner at our house. And then,
I have no idea. Don't look at me, I have no idea.
And then I had no idea that Ben was interested in you, because if I did, I would have made it happen a very long time ago.
You skipped a lunch at Stern that was supposed to be a really big lunch.
Ben was originally not supposed to even be at the meal, and another friend, a mutual friend of ours actually, Dan, invited Ben to go to that meal.
I invited Dan, and Dan told me, oh, I have a really nice friend. He invented Hummus Day. I was like, okay, that sounds weird, but I'm down for that. So he brought him for dinner.
Well, he founded something called International Hummus Day, and I'm not sure if he mentioned it at the meal, but he probably did, because if he liked you, he wanted to impress you. And he talked about hummus at the meal, and I think you might have mentioned also that you like hummus.
And he was quiet the whole meal. He did not speak one word. And I was like, why is he so shy? Why is this guy so shy?
So Ben thought it would be a good idea, like afterwards, to ask you out on a date, or just try to get to know you better, and eventually ask you out on a hummus date. And he kind of made it the theme of how he would get you to go on a date with him. Just anything related to hummus. Like he was gripping onto that one fact that he knew about you, that you like hummus. He decided that was the thing that would be the theme of their relationship. And then eventually she agreed to meet him, because he said, oh, I need pictures for Hummus Day, and she was a photographer, and they agreed to meet at 4:40 p.m. At this hummus place. And then I think Ben, being Ben, was over-analyzing everything and was thinking, oh, 4:40 p.m., there's no way she's going to take it seriously, like a date. And he was like concerned about being friend-zoned. I think the other friend that we have, Dan, was giving him advice as well. And he was too concerned that it'd be only just friends, because only friends meet at 4:40. So we ended up canceling on the date, and then was that it? I can tell, and then you're done from there? Or
that was the whole thing.
That was it. That's how it ended.
Canceled.
It was canceled. And during this entire time, Ben was messaging Dan about how difficult Karen was, and how it was so hard, and how he wasn't getting anywhere, and how he hated this, and so his memory of the whole thing was how difficult you were.
2 years later.
Je me rappelle du jour où Karen a revu Ben pour la première fois. Elle m'a raconté qu'elle était à côté des fontaines avec son partenaire de Chavruta.
My name is Josh. I was Kevin's Chavruta at Pardes. We were learning Talmud together. We had an amazing chavruta. We really learned a lot. One day, Karen tells me that she knows the most beautiful spot that she has to show me, which is this beautiful Moroccan courtyard with fountains and roses, and it's a very quiet place. So we're just sitting there and chatting when all of a sudden this tall man walks in. And I can see Karen's face light up. She's like, "Oh, Ben," and they start chatting. And after he leaves, she tells me, she's very excited, and she tells me, "Oh, you know, this is guy Ben. He started this Facebook group called Corona Crushes." When they were chatting, he said that he was living in Tel Aviv at the time, but he would text her whenever he was in Yerushalayim. And so, you know, a few days were going by. I was checking in with Karen, being like, "Oh, has he texted you yet?" And she was like, "Oh, not yet." She was like, not sure if he would. But I was very confident. I could tell that there was something there, and I was very confident that he would text her.
4 to 6 weeks later.
And lo and behold, one day she tells me, "Oh, Ben just messaged me."
Ben lui a envoyé un message pour lui demander s'il pouvait se voir.
He asked her to go get juice and sit by the fountain where they were when they had ran into each other.
Et Karen n'était pas trop sûre de vouloir oui ou non. Finalement, ils se sont vus.
Spent like a lot of time like hanging out, going different places, enjoying each other's company, and really bonding. And so much so that like I could tell that like Ben was like he was like in the clouds. I think he even told me that. He said like, "I'm in the clouds right now. Like I met this girl named Karen, and I mean this may be too soon, but like I think she could be the one." And like he said that really early on in like the relationship. Like he knew that this was going to be a serious relationship very early, and he was like, I think he was nervous about that because he really liked her.
Meanwhile,
Elle a dû prendre 2 semaines de pause, 2 semaines sans le voir pour prendre du recul, réfléchir et 5 semaines.
5 jours.
5 jours?
Même pas.
Ah, ouais, d'accord, 5 jours. Et
הוא סיפר לי עלייך. הוא היה בעננים. מה זה בעננים? את לא מבינה, הוא היה איזה יום אחד, יומיים שלא ענית לו, שאמרת לו, אני זוכר, משהו בסגנון שאמרת לו שלא תדברו איזה יומיים, אם את זוכרת?
נכון.
את יודעת מה עבר עליו? הוא היה בתל אביב, את יודעת מה עבר עליו? תקשיבי, הבן אדם היה כמעט בפאניקה. הבן אדם היה כאילו, מה זה בלחץ? את לא מבינה. כאילו הוא אמר, וואי, מה אני עושה, אני לא יכול לוותר עליה, אני לא יכול, מה אני עושה, היה ממש כזה באטרף, לא יודע מה לעשות, איך הוא צריך להתמודד עם זה.
several days later.
Et du coup, voilà, avec 5 jours de réflexion, elle s'est rendue compte que oui, que Ben avait tout le package à lui offrir.
He was infatuated, and I think anyone really is when they meet Karen.
Many months later.
You sent me a message on Instagram saying, "I got engaged." And I said, "What?" Like, I didn't even know you were dating someone. I didn't know any background. So I was like, "What?" So I said, well, first of all, I was like, "Mazal tov, I'm so excited. This is amazing." But I said, "To who?" I had no idea who we were engaged to.
The proposal was beautifully done, and like very well planned. I know that Ben like messaged his like neighbors for weeks, asking them if they could use their house that they rent out as an Airbnb that has this beautiful balcony terrace. You know, Ben ran all over the place to like basically pick up all things yellow flowers, yellow posters, because he knows that Karen loves yellow. Karen was really happy. Ben was really happy that Karen was happy, and the proposal was mamash beautiful.
Wait. Okay, Dan Smith wrote to me, "Hey, you know Ben got engaged," and I was like, "What Ben? Like who? What?" He sent me a picture of you, and I was like, "Oh my God, yes, Miriam just told me that Ken got engaged." And then he's like, "Yeah, it's Ben." I was like, "What Ben? Which Ben? Is that Ben Lang?" And I asked him question mark. I was so shocked. I was like, "Mom," I go to her to tell her that you're engaged, and she tells me, "Yeah, to Ben Lang." And Miriam goes, and I said, "No, it's not." She goes, "No, it's not Ben Lang." I was like, "Yeah, it's Ben Lang." That was the shock, but it was a happy shock. And then I saw a message from you explaining the whole story.
I don't think there was ever anything negative that he said about you. ever. Like he was always very positive. It was always about like how he wanted it to work out and how he was just worried about messing it up and how he really, really likes you. Like he was like in love from like day one.
It's funny, I would have never like guessed that you guys would have ended up together, but then when I heard it, I was like, yeah, this makes so much sense. Like, why didn't I think of that, you know?
You guys complete each other because he's very quiet and like more composed, and you're very outgoing and fun. And it's very nice to see you guys, how like you guys balance each other out. It's really nice.
Je sais que Keren a un côté excentrique, où elle aime faire un peu la folle, faire des voix, etc. Et je me suis dit que peut-être il était un peu trop neat, peut-être un peu trop propre sur lui pour elle. Et maintenant, aujourd'hui, que je vois qu'ils ont décidé de se marier, je comprends que justement le fait qu'il soit calme, etc., ça la complète, et lui aussi inversement, le côté un peu foufou de Keren peut amener Ben à être plus foufou aussi.
Well, I think when we found out, you were just like, oh my god, they're perfect for each other. They're just like the personalities. I always felt like he was going to find some Israeli, Moroccan, something. Like he wanted someone who was like that had like fire and like...
You're gonna bring some spice into his life and make it a bit more fun.
Yeah.
Ce qu'il y a de spécial dans le couple aussi, c'est les origines multiples de Keren et Ben, c'est-à-dire ils parlent tous les deux les trois mêmes langues. Ils ont vécu aux États-Unis en même temps. Leurs parents sont de cultures différentes. Ils ont vécu dans plusieurs pays et ils ont tous les deux décidé que Jérusalem et Israël, en tout cas, seraient leur nouvelle maison. Et voilà, c'est quelque chose qui est spécial, qu'ils se soient retrouvés ici après toutes ces années.
I've had the pleasure of meeting Karen's father, and Karen's father is like probably one of the funniest people that I know. Knows everything about the Sephardic heritage, which Karen, as a result, knows everything about her heritage. And I think that like Karen's background, her family, really attracts Ben. Karen has a strong personality, and I think Ben likes people with strong personalities that know how to love as well, that know how to appreciate him for who he is. And I think Karen does that really, really well.
Hashem makes it happen. So I really feel like you guys, like that was your story. Maybe then it wasn't the right timing, but like Hashem eventually made it happen, you know? Like, what are the coincidences that in Israel, you know, you bump into each other and you go through all of these things together.
But just looking back on it, it's so amazing to see, like, timing is really everything. And it's so lucky and so wonderful that they happened to run into each other that day.
Hashem's hand in it from the beginning, so may that continue to be part of your story and part of the family that you build with each other. And in whatever you do, whatever derech you decide to go on.
Just as they were so lucky on that one day to run into each other, that the same good fortune and luck will smile down on them for the rest of their married lives together. And it's such an honor to have been there during that very fortuitous day, and Mazal Tov.
I'm so happy for you guys. Mazal Tov.
Mazal Tov.
Mazel tov.
Timing is everything. I was none the wiser. Both of us, different trajectories. Who'd thought we'd be right here in this spot? Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Timing is everything.
When you took her to Hadera, that was it.
Okay.
I'm so happy, and to think she turned you down in New York. I love that story.